the architecture of cloud computing. The cloud computing architecture is multi-tenant architecture. The architecture of cloud computing is multi-tenant architecture. Multi-tenant architecture. So what is a multi-tenant architecture? A single environment shared among the multiple users with some common features and with the exclusive features. The same environment is available over cloud, so we are all sharing the same environment. That is the cloud computing. So they are maintaining, very big, huge data centers, and they are providing their services through internet. So that is we are commonly, normally calling as a cloud, and we are accessing that services. So only one shared environment is available. So we are all connecting to that environment. That is nothing but cloud. That is the multi-tenant environment or multi-tenant architecture. So we have to know both multi-tenant architecture and also Salesforce.com architecture also, because Salesforce.com is working on cloud computing concept. So now we are going for architecture of Salesforce.com. Architecture of Salesforce.com. So the architecture of Salesforce.com, the Salesforce.com architecture is MVC architecture. The Salesforce.com architecture is MVC architecture. There is model view controller. So it is a well-known architecture. M stands for model. View stands for view. And C stands for controller. So it is well-known architecture. So the programmers, if you are programmers, suppose you are working as a programmer, so 90% of the programmers should know about this MVC architecture. Most of the programming languages like Java, .NET, PHP, so all of them are working on MVC architecture only. In the same way, our Apex programming language, Salesforce.com programming language is called Apex, APEX, on Salesforce.com, right? It is also working on MVC architecture only. So model view controller are different components. It is a view part and it is a controller, and finally it is the model. It is a view part. It is controller and it is a model. You can say model or data model or database. You can say with different names. I'm simplifying actually the process. I'm simplifying. We are calling as a data model or database. You can call with the different names of this model component. So maybe some real-time guys are there. They are working as .NET developers. So I'm not speaking about client-server architecture. Right? I'm not speaking about any request and response. I'm not speaking about any client-server architecture. It is only MVC architecture. So how the things will work here, MVC architecture? So whatever data we are entering in the view part means simply what you can see, what the end user can see. Any page, any form, so that will come under view part. Actually, we are getting the request from view part. We are getting the data from view part. So by looking what end user can see. View means what is the meaning of view? Something that is a graphical user interface. Maybe you can provide one form to enter the data for the users, for the customers. That is a view part. Through view part, the user can enter the data simply. So what is the view part in Salesforce.com? Let me log in into any account. So I'm going to sales application. So it is a sales application. It comes by default. You also can see the sales application in our account. I'm clicking on accounts. Click on new button. So it is something like view part. So it is a page which is available in my account object, account tab. So it is something like view part. So the data, what data is entered from the view part? The data should be stored in somewhere, right? So where this data will be storing? Obviously the data should be stored into model. The data needs to be stored into model. So whatever the end user or user is entering data here, the data will be storing into model. Model means data model or database. For our understanding purpose, I am saying as database or data model. Okay, so end user is entering the data from view part, from view components by using view components, and that could be page, any page. We got the fields in the page. He will enter the data into the fields, and once we click on save button, the data will be storing into data model or database. So what this controller does here? So what is the duty of controller? So simply controller as mediator. Controller will accept the data from user. Controller will accept the data from user, or maybe controller will accept the data from view part and validates the data. The data validations will be done in controller and performs the operations. I mean, if you written any logic, any operations, that operations will be performed in a controller part, and then that will be reflect the state of the model. That will reflect into the data model, and then the data which is modified, or maybe what logic is written, what operations is performed. After performing the logic or after performing the operations, what the data will be storing into data model. Here in Salesforce.com, what is a controller? We can say controller is Apex programming language. So we can say controller as Apex programming language. So many of you are working as .NET developers. If you go to .NET, suppose in .NET the view part is ASP.NET, and the controller is, you can go for C#. C# will act as a controller. And then database, what is the database? SQL Server is the database. Suppose it is a real-time example. I mean, the guys who are working on .NET. So SQL Server is the database. Or if you are working on any Java, so if you go to Java, JSP, Java Server Pages, will comes under view part. In the controller part, what we got in Java? We got servlets in Java. Servlets also Java program. So servlets will comes under controller, and it will perform operations actually. And then what is the database for Java projects? In most of the projects, they will go for Oracle database, Java people. Like that, it is the MVC architecture of .NET and it is the MVC architecture of Java. So how they are following? So we are not into Salesforce.com actually. That's why I'm not discussing any components about any components now, because that components are new for you. So once we enter into the Salesforce.com, I will again show what components will comes under view part, what components will comes under controller part, what is the data model. Right? So the view part, so where the user is entering the data. That means where the user is sending the request or entering the data. The data will be taken into the controller part. So here in the controller part, we will perform some operations on the data, and then the data will be storing into model part simply. So you don't need to confuse. So it is the MVC architecture. So everyone can understand easily what is view part and what is model part. Model is nothing but database or data model, and view part is something like graphical user interface, and where you can see form or page to enter the data. And many of the people are confusing what is controller. So what is this controller? Controller accepts the data from user or maybe view part and validates the data and performs any operations, performs basic operations, and that will reflect the state, the data state, or maybe you can say that will reflect the state in the data model or database. Model or database. So it is a duty of controllers. So if you want to perform any functionality, so we need to go to extra functionality. We need to go to controller and we need to write some coding. So all Apex programming language. So in development, in Salesforce.com development, we got Apex programming language. So Apex will comes under controller. So if you come to view part, in the view part we got VF pages. VF page in the view part. How we got active server pages. ASP stands for active server pages, right? Here we got VF pages. JSP stands for Java server pages. So here we got VF pages. So that will act as a view part. And controller is Apex programming language. So we can write some extra functionality here by using Apex programming language. So you have to note down, so Apex also object-oriented programming language. So it is also it is also designed on basis of OOPS concepts. So Apex is also object-oriented programming language. So if you come to model, so we got S object is there, Salesforce object. So Salesforce object, everything will be stored against the Salesforce object. So we can say model is nothing but S object. So it is a complete structure of MVC architecture in Salesforce.com. But it is too early to discuss all these components because some of you don't know about Java and .NET. Only a few people are knows. So discussing about depth, discussing in depth is not recommended at this stage. So that's why I'm leaving this MVC architecture now. And when time comes, then we'll look at this again. Okay, simply you have to understand what is the functionality of MVC architecture, how the things will done, how the things will be performed in MVC architecture. View, model, and in between we got the controller to control the data. simply. Okay, it's about MVC architecture simply. So it is a Salesforce architecture. So you have to know about both multi-tenant and MVC architecture. Salesforce.com is working on multi-tenant architecture and also MVC architecture. For providing services, it will take multi-tenant architecture. For internal processing inside the Salesforce.com, so it is using MVC architecture. So it is about the introduction part. So for day before yesterday and yesterday, also today also we are into what is Salesforce.com, how many clouds. So we've seen everything, the background of Salesforce.com and cloud computing. So far what we've seen. So what is cloud computing? Because I'm sure the people who are learning Salesforce.com, not many people will know about cloud computing. They are learning Salesforce.com blindly without knowing cloud computing also. Actually, what is cloud computing? So what is Salesforce.com? So how many cloud services are there? IaaS, SaaS and PaaS. So what about security in Salesforce.com? So how many clouds, the Salesforce.com clouds? How many partners? Salesforce.com partners. And what we seen more? So do you remember? And how many versions? So every year there are 3 releases, right? 3 versions. And we got 6 editions. And we got 2 environments, sandbox environment and production environment. And finally, the Salesforce.com architecture, maybe cloud computing architecture. And Salesforce.com architecture. And general types of clouds. So we got 3 general types of clouds, right? The type of cloud. Is it public cloud or private cloud or hybrid cloud? So far we seen this one. So it is all comes under introduction part only, the background of Salesforce.com and how the things will work in Salesforce.com. And we haven't entered into Salesforce.com yet. Now, in today's class, we will look at Salesforce.com. I will go to that Salesforce.com environment. So normally we are saying that this is a Salesforce.com environment. So it is a Salesforce.com environment. Okay, everyone commonly sharing this environment. So if I get the account from Salesforce.com, I can see this, and you also can see the same environment because everyone's sharing the common environment which is provided in the cloud. So once again I'm repeating. So whenever you get to Salesforce.com, whenever you got the account from Salesforce.com, the CRM will come by default. You don't need to develop again CRM. If you want to use this basic CRM, you can use. Or if you want to customize this basic CRM, you can customize this basic CRM also as per your client requirements. So you can go to customize here, this option, and you can customize this basic CRM. You don't need to create again the separate CRM. Or in any other functionality, if you want any, your client need any other functionality, you can do the same like java.net. We can write the code or we can use this GUI. I don't know about .NET actually, because I'm basically Java developer and I moved to the Salesforce.com. So in Java, if you want to create any field or if you want to create any button, something, any page, for everything we need to write the code. Without writing code, it is not possible anything in Java. For each and every component, if you want to achieve anything, we have to write the code. But here in Salesforce.com, so for configuring application, for designing the application, So we don't need to write any code. So that's why half of the part will be done in create and customize. In create and customize, that is called configuration part. So half of the part will be done in configuration, and for rest of the half we need to go for development. And administer. So actually administer needed in production environment. The client company needed administer. So TCS company don't need any administrators. Maybe TCS company will recruit one administrator, and then they will provide that resource to the client company, because to whom we are working. Okay, so first we'll start with create, and then we'll go to customize, and then we'll go to administer, and then we'll come to the development, and finally we will go for test, this one, integration part also. And I'm not sure, because I need to set up many things if I go to integration. So, and also if I cover integration, it will take 20 to 30 days if I cover a full length of integrations. Anyway, I got that 20 classes videos. So how I'm recording the video and how I'm sending the video every day. In the same way, I got some couple of videos. So initially I will provide that videos. Just go through that videos for the integration. So if you got any doubts, I will clarify. So there is no problem. That's for sure. So before going into this environment, this Salesforce.com environment, so we have to know about the basic vocabulary. The basic things we have to know before going into this Salesforce.com. So what is the basic vocabulary in Salesforce.com? The basic things we have to know before entering into Salesforce.com. We can see now. So before going to Salesforce.com, we have to know about this basic vocabulary. So the first one is the terms. You have to know about this term. The first one is app. That means application, or we can say app or application. The second one is tab. Third one is S-object. S-object stands for S means Salesforce. S means Salesforce object. And the fourth one is fields, and fifth one is data, and sixth one is records, and seventh one is profile, and eighth one is role. So we have to know about these things before going to Salesforce.com. So what is app? App or application? Let me put simplified word. So app. So what is app? So where you can see app. So I'm going to Salesforce.com. So you can see right top corner. So it is called application drop down box. These are all different applications. If you want to switch from one application to another application, you can switch here from one application to another application. So I am into sales application, right? So the application name will be displayed on the top. I want to go to marketing application. So you can click on marketing application. So it will switch back to the marketing application. And I want to go for call center application. So you are into call center application now. So these are all applications. So this is called application drop down box. Application drop down. I'm selecting sales application back. So this is a sales application. So it is a powerful one. So everyone going for this sales cloud only. So what is the application? So application is nothing but the project name. The project name is nothing but application name. Or maybe we can say, so application is nothing but project, or we can say application is nothing but set of services. Same meaning anywhere. So here also same meaning. So application is nothing but project, and inside this project we got, through this project we can provide a set of services. So what is tab? So where you can see tabs in salesforce.com. So these are all tabs. These are all tabs. So what is the tab? Let me click on one tab. I'm clicking on this contacts tab. I clicked on it. I think my net connection is a bit slow. There is no power here as well. So sorry guys, I got small problem with the network. So just we don't have power here, so that's a problem. That might be. So I'm clicking on one of the tab. So I'm clicking on this contacts tab and click on new button. You can see the complete page about this contact. You can see, you can enter the data. So now my question is, what is the tab? What is the tab? Tabs are nothing but the modules in the application. The modules in the application. So application name is sales application. These are all the modules in the application. The tabs are nothing but modules in the application. You can create how many modules you want. You can create that many modules. So tab is nothing but modules in the app, or I can give a link to separate page. So tab is a link, and when you click on this tab, you will navigate to other page. So let me click on this tab. So I'm clicking on this accounts tab. If I click on accounts tab, so you can navigate to another page. Just you can say, so instead of a link to separate page, maybe you can say the best one is, so tabs are nothing but modules in the application. So what the relationship between this application and tab? Between application and tab, we got end-to-end relationship. We got end-to-end relationship between application and tab. That means one application can contain n number of tabs, and one tab can appear in n number of applications. One application, more tabs. In one application can contain n number of tabs. So here, how many tabs you can see here? So roughly you can see here 10 tabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tabs roughly you can see here. But if you want to create 100 tabs, you can create 100 tabs. So one application can contain number of tabs. So one-to-n relationship. In the same way, one tab can appear in multiple applications. One tab can appear in n number of applications, and in the same way, one application can contain n number of tabs. So totally between application and tab, we will have end-to-end relationship. So in the sales application, you can see accounts tab, right? I can see in the sales application, I can see accounts tab. So I'm going to call center application. I'm going to call center application. In the call center application also, we can see accounts tab. That means one tab is showing in two different applications. Yes, that's right. We can show one tab in n number of applications. In the same way, one application can contain n number of tabs. That's why I came in here between application and tab, we got end-to-end relationship. And what is this as object? the data, whatever data you are storing, the data will be storing into SObject only. So SObject is nothing but the storage space. SObject is nothing but the storage space. So anyone knows knowledge on Oracle, any database? In the databases we are creating tables, right? So how the data will be storing into database? Yeah, schemas. So table is also one of the schema, right? So we can declare one table. So inside the table, we are storing the data. If you go to SQL Server or Oracle, any database. So here the data will be storing into the object. So here also the data can be storing into rows and columns. Rows and columns wise. Against rows and columns, the data will be storing into SObject. Just the SObject, Salesforce object. Salesforce object is nothing but a storage space. The application data, I mean, the object data, whatever data you are entering, that will be storing as rows and columns in the object. So what is the difference? I mean, what is the relationship between tab and SObject? So between tab and SObject, we got a one-to-one relationship. So we can create only one tab for single SObject. So we can't create more than one tab for single SObject. So between tab and SObject, we have only one-to-one relationship. So actually here you get tabs, right? So let me go to sales application. These are the tabs. Through this tab, you are going to SObject. So once you click on this accounts, click on new button. So it is SObject, and inside SObject we got the fields. In other way, you can say tab is nothing but a door or entry point. So through this tab, we are entering into the SObject. So that's why we can create only one tab for a single SObject. We can't create more than one tab for a single object. And fields. So if you want to store the application data and the client's data. Yeah.
If we create SObject, so will it create a physical schema in database, or it will be a temporary space like in a .NET or Java? Because
Yes.
in .NET and Java, we create object and it's like temporary space to hold the data.
Yes, here also it will allocate some memory in the database actually, in the cloud, and the application, that data will be storing into that space. So we are not saying it is a temporary. It is not. I'm not saying it is a temporary database. So it will store permanently.
Okay, thank you, Mahesh.
Okay.
It goes into a table, Mahesh. A table is created.
No. Table. No, I given only example, but you can't say any table. Okay, they are using different schemas. Okay, we can't see any table. Just you can see the fields only, and in the database you can't see any tables. Physical. I mean, they got other schema to store the data, and the schema definition is different, not like rows and columns wise, but internally the structure, the data will be storing as rows and columns, same like databases. Just I given for example, but don't compare with any database.
Okay.
Just for your understanding purpose, I given like that. So I want to store the application data. So I need some fields, right? So for performing the transaction, for completing the transaction fully, so we need some relevant fields. So if you want to finish the transaction, if you want to, get the complete record for business purpose, so we need to create some meaningful fields. So where you can see the fields here, these are the fields. Click on any tab, click on new button, then we are entering into the object. Inside the object, we can see the fields. So we have to give the data into the field. And once you give the data into the fields, and then once click on save button, the record will be saved into the database. And obviously, once you click on save button, the record will be generated and the record will be storing into the database. So for finishing the transaction, for getting the full data from this customer, we need to create some relevant fields. So we will enter the data into the fields. We need to enter the data into the fields. And once you click on save button, the record will be generated. The record will be storing into the database. So inside the fields, we have to enter the data. And by entering the data, click on save button. A record will be generated. The record is obviously storing it to the database. And fields. So what is the relationship between SObject and fields? So between SObject and fields, we got 1-to-n relationship. So between SObject and fields, we got 1-to-n relationship. That means one SObject can contain n number of fields. One SObject can contain n number of fields, but we have some limitations. We seen the limitation documents yesterday, right? And we got different limitations in different editions. In developer edition, we can create maximum 500 fields. So one SObject can have multiple fields, so 1-to-n relationship, but we got some limitation, that is we can create only 500 fields. Okay, I think am I audible? Sorry guys, my network is disconnecting often, so there is no power here. That might be a problem here. Sorry guys, my network connection is lost, so there is no power here, and since last 2 days we got heavy rain here, so that might be a problem. It is disconnecting often. Okay, then I'm back anyway. So it is about application tab SObject and fields and data and records. And you got some idea about what is application tabs SObjects. And we will create everything. We will create everything. Fields, data and records. And what is this profile? What is this profile? Here in Salesforce.com. Profile is nothing but set of permissions. Profile is nothing but set of permissions associated with the user. So profile determines or profile enables a set of permissions. Maybe profile determines or maybe profile gives a set of permissions to the user. So profile gives the permissions. So profile is a set of permissions. So profile gives set of permissions associated with the user. That means if you want to give any permission to the user, that permission we will define in profile, and through this profile we will give that access to the user. So what type of permissions we can enable through this profile? So we can give CRUD permissions. We can give CRUD permissions, C-R-U-D, CRUD permissions. So what is CRUD? C means create, and R means read, and U means update, and D means delete. Create, read, update, delete. CRUD permissions. So profile determines some permissions, a set of permissions. What are permissions? CRUD permissions. Create, read, update, and delete. So whether this user associated with the user, right? So whether this user can create the new records, or he can read the records, read the data, or he can update any other record, or he can delete the record. So these type of access we will give through the profile. In the Salesforce.com, there is no user existed without any profile. There is no user existed in Salesforce.com without any profile. So no user is existed in Salesforce.com without any profile. Right, but you already created one account. So by default, one user has been created. So you provide some details, right? Your first name, your last name, your email address. So you provided some details. So the Salesforce.com will take the details, and by default, one user will be created. So it is my account. So on my details, with my details, so by default, one user will be created whenever you create the account from Salesforce.com. Maybe you can check, your name will be appear on the top. So that is your user. By default, whenever you got the account from Salesforce.com Developer Edition, a user will be created. A user will be created. That user will get which profile? Again, there is no user existed without any profile, but by default, one user is created in the Developer Edition whenever you got the account. So that user will get which profile? By default, the first user in the Salesforce.com will get System Administrator profile. By default, the first user will get System Administrator profile. Why? They are assigning System Administrator profile to the first user. So if we created any other users, so we need to give the permission to the other users, right? So System Administrator will give the permission to the other users. And this System Administrator profile will get 100% access on each and every component. He'll get full access on each and every component. Then only you can give the access to other people, right? Then only the System Administrator can create more users, and I can give the access on other users if you got the 100% access on all components. That's the reason the first user will get a System Administrator profile, and the System Administrator profile will get the access on each and every component. So it is about profile. If you know Oracle DBA, database administrators, so database administrators knows more about the profiles. So if you got, if anyone having any knowledge on DBA, database administrators, so we have to create some profiles in DBA and roles and a view. So there are some other roles are there, database administrator roles. So they know much, they know more about the profiles, they can understand. So for Salesforce.com, it is enough. So what is profile and how we can give the permissions through this profile? Okay, so if you're getting any disturbance, just please stop me. I think my net connection is too worst today. So if you're getting any disturbance, or if you can't hear my voice, or you're getting any noise, just please stop me. Maybe I'll find the solution for it. So it is about profile. So what is role? Actually, profile and roles we can see in administrative concepts, in administration. but you have to know about these things also. That's why I'm discussing about this profile and roles also. So what is role? Just role gives the access on data. So who can access which data? Who can access which data simply? The role gives the permission on the data level. So who can access which data? That will be determined by the role. But don't think too much about this role and profile. Anyway, this role and profiles we can discuss in adjective concepts in more depth. So how to create the roles, how to create the profiles. If you go to administer and if you go to manage users, you can see how to create the more users, how to assign the role to the users, how to declare some permission sets, and how to create the profiles. These are administrative concepts we will see here. Just it is something like basic vocabulary. You have to know about this one before going to the salesforce.com. That's why I'm discussing about these things. Okay, so it is about the basic vocabulary like application, tab, subject, fields, data, records, profile, and role. One second. So whenever you log into salesforce.com, whenever you got the account, and whenever you log into the salesforce.com. So for login, we got login.salesforce.com. Through this login.salesforce.com, you can log in into the account, your account. Once you log into the salesforce.com, so we'll get the profile. So the default user is there. A user will be created on our details. So that user will get the profile. So what the profile that user will get by default? The user will get system administrator profile. The user is having system administrator profile. Sysadmin. So this sysadmin will give the which permissions. So this profile will determine CRUD permissions. So it will determine the permissions on create, read, update, and delete. So after profile, so what we need to do? So after profile, actually we need to go for application, right? So how we can create the application? So after profile, we need to go for application. So let me go for application here. So after application, we will go for after application, we will go for tab. After tab, we need to go for a subject. After a subject, we need to create the fields in that object. We need to create the fields. So after fields, maybe we have to give the data into the fields. We have to give the data into the fields. So here the role will come actually. So once you give the data into the fields, and obviously the record will be generated. So role will come here actually. So role determines so who can access which data. So role will determines to give the access on the fields. Okay. So after roles, or maybe roles gives the access on data. Simply role gives the access on data. So it is the structure. Okay. So before, between application and tab, what relationship we have? Between application and tab, we got end-to-end relationship. We're having end-to-end relationship between application and tab. And between a tab and a subject, between tab and a subject, we got one-to-one relationship. Between a subject and fields, we got one-to-end relationship. One subject can contain multiple number of fields. But there is a limitation in Salesforce.com. We can create only 500 fields maximum. I can create maximum 500 fields. Because these 500 fields are so too much, right? So we haven't reached 500 fields in my career. I think we created maximum 250 fields or 300 fields maximum. So these 500 fields are so too much. So actually we are reducing the fields. How many fields you can reduce? You can reduce the fields. Because entering the data in too many fields, it will become like something user will boring to enter many fields, right? The value in many fields. So we are trying to reduce the fields actually. So if you create 500 fields in single object, see imagine for creating one record, so he need to spend how many minutes? Maybe he need to spend 10-15 minutes to finish that transaction, to fill out all the fields in the object. So 500 fields also too much. Okay, don't worry about that limitation. You never create. I think you will never create 500 fields in single object. So if I go to one of the S object here, I'm going to accounts. It's a predefined S object. So how many fields are there here? So I think roughly there will be 50 fields. So if you are creating more fields, there might be 200 or 300 fields maximum. But you won't exceed more than that. So it is about the complete structure. It is about complete structure. Complete structure of the Salesforce.com. The basic vocabulary, basic operations. So actually what I will do, so I will create one new account for each and every batch. I don't work with other batch account. So I'll create one new account for each and every batch. So that's why my accounts are increasing like this. I got too many accounts. So I want to create one more batch one more account for this batch also. And I will use only that account in our course, entire course. So for creating an account, what is the URL? The URL is developer.force.com. We have to go to this URL to create the account. Click on sign up. So first name, I'm giving my details. So company name, I'm giving Mahesh company. So I can give any company name. So postal code, I'm giving postal code. And username could be anything. Username could be anything. if you want to give the same email address as a username, you can give the same email address. Or if you want to change, you can give any username, but your username should contain @ and dot. Your username should contain @ and dot. But it could be your same email address, or it could not be your same email address. The username could be anything. So I'm giving like Mahesh 7 a.m. So is there any 7 a.m.? Before also I got one 7 a.m. batch. Yes, already I created 7 a.m. right? So I can't repeat it again. Just I'm giving 7 a.m. 7 a.m. @gmail.com. So it is the username. Okay, 7 a.m. @gmail.com, and then click on sign me up. So I'm creating new account. So I will use this account for entire course. Yes, the account has been created. I signed up. So I will get the link to my email address. So I won't get the link immediately. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes. Oh, it is not the one. So for 1 or 2 minutes to get the link. Mail. So it is the one. I got the confirmation mail. Just click on this link and go to this link to set up the password. So click on this link now. Okay, there is some maintenance work is going on this Saturday. So password is Mahesh123. MAHASH 123. Mahesh123. Mahesh123. So if you want to use the same account, you can use the same account. I don't mind. So account name, username is 7am @gmail.com, and the password is Mahesh123. So it is a new account. I haven't touched this one. So it is a new account. New Salesforce.com account. So whenever you got the account, see. So on my details, so one user has been created. And you can see sales application, marketing application, call center application, chat application. So this is community application, site.com application. So we got some predefined applications. So for which satisfying the CRM. So whenever you log in, CRM will come by default. They are offering the CRM by default. And also the first user will be created on top of your details. So this user will get which profile? System administrator profile. So how do you know? So this user got system administrator. Am I lying? So am I lying or not? So how do you know whether this user got system administrator or not? Just go to this manage users, expand it, and go to users. So whatever users he created so far, so that users will be displayed. So it is Mahesh 7am1, right? Username, and its full name is Mahesh. This is the full name, and he got the profile at system administrator profile. So I haven't created this user. I did not click new user and I did not create new user. So automatically Salesforce.com created one user on your details. And this user will get by default system administrator. Why? Because he will get 100%, he will get 100% access on each and every component. So then only if we create any more users, he will get the access to that users. So don't worry about this administrator. So we will discuss this administrator once we finish this configuration. So this both configuration and administrations are GUI part. You don't need to write single piece of code. Just by using some mouse clicks and by typing something, so you can configure your application. So wherever you are, don't worry, wherever you are, just click on setup. If you click on setup, you will be into the main page. Okay, so you are navigating to some other page, and you don't know how to get back to the main page. Just click on setup. You got setup link here. So if you click on setup, you will be into the main page.
Hi Mahesh, this is Bhupendra here.
Hi Bhupendra.
Mahesh, actually when you clicked on manage users and users, I saw your user as a profile, system administrator, and there was one more Chatter expert user.
Yes,
so
yes.
Why
They will create one Chatter profile also by default. They will create one Chatter user also by default.
Okay. Is there any specific reason?
No, there is no specific reason. So before they was not created, but now nowadays they are creating the Chatter user also by default. For chatting purpose, that's it. Okay, but don't worry about that one. So the Chatter user, the Chatter profile is, is not considering actually. So we can create many Chatter users. We can create 5,000 Chatter users. So for this Chatter user only for a chatting purpose, nothing else. You won't get any access. Only this Chatter user will get this Chatter application only. So if you are going to administer, then you can see so what profile will get which access, everything. So these are administrator concepts. So it's too early to go to administrator. So just leave this administration here. So I'll give a clear picture while we are discussing about administrator. Okay, so wherever you are, don't worry, just click on setup. Just click on setup, you will be into the main page. Okay, so these are applications. So these applications and these tabs comes by default for CRM purpose. So now, so I logged into the salesforce.com. Sorry, I got the account and I logged into the salesforce.com. Yes, I got the profile and the profile is system administrator, and this profile determines CRUD permissions: create, read, update, delete. So system administrator will get the all permissions. And then what is the next one? I need to create the app. I need to create the application. How to create the application? So the UI part is very, very easy. I don't think, you won't get any complication. And even 10th standard student also can do this configuration and administration. So simply to say, so 10th standard student also do this configuration. I'm going to create. So if you want to create the application, so what the path? We need to click on setup first. Then you will be into setup page, the main page. And we need to go to build area. Just go to build area and go to create and expand this create and then go to app. Just click on this app. You can create the new application. Just click on this app to create the new application. I'm clicking on this apps. So where is the new button? Just click on new button to create the new application. So I'm repeating once again. So what is the path to create application? Click on setup and then go to build area. So it is a build area. So here we need to go to create, expand this create, and then go to apps, and then go to app. I'm clicking on this apps. Yes, I clicked on it. and then you can click on new button to create the new application. It is a path to create the new application. I'm clicking on new application, click on new. So we can create two types of applications. One is a custom app and second one is console app. So please go to custom app at this time, and we frequently creating custom apps only. So console apps we don't create often, but the custom apps we are creating often. So anyway, we'll see. Just for time being, we can go for only custom app, custom application. So total 5 steps we have to create the application. We got total 5 steps. First step, it is asking what is the type of application. So I need to go for custom app and click on next button. Here it is asking what is application label and what is application name. So here you need to identify. So if you are giving application label, automatically application name will be populated. So my application label. So what is my application label? What is my project name? So I'll give you like simply sample application. So once you given your application label, so automatically app name will be populated. You don't need to give app name separately. So it is in second step. So Salesforce.com recommending. So after application name, so put force because it is Salesforce, right? So for like advertising purpose or maybe for branding purpose, like they are asking to put force after application label, but it is not necessary to put force after application label. So click on next button. So we are into third step. So do you want to upload an image for your application? That means company logo. So we are creating applications for any organization, right? Do you want to upload organization's logo? So instead of or maybe in place of Salesforce.com logo, it is the Salesforce.com logo. So do you want to upload other image here in this page? In this place, actually the company organization image, organization's logo we are uploading there. So if you want to insert any logo or image for our application, so we can insert. Just click on this insert image. So once you click on this insert image, so it will show my desktop or maybe my computer. So we need to select the image, but it is not showing anything. So how could I upload the image? How could I upload the logo for my application? So it is not showing any browse button to browse for the file and upload file, and it is showing simply the documents. So it is showing. So there are no documents are available. There are no documents are available. So here we can't upload the image directly. First we need to do what we need to do. We got one documents object. Documents is a predefined object. I mean the object which is created by the Salesforce.com. So we need to upload that image to documents object first, and from document object we have to choose. We have to choose from documents object. So we need to do two steps instead of directly. First go to documents object and upload the image to the document object, and then choose that image here in our app. But the files which you are uploading to the document, that file should be 20K or smaller than that size. If the file size is more than 20K, so we could not upload that one into documents object. In the Salesforce.com, everything is an object. Everything is an object. So Salesforce.com also following OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming language, OOPS concepts. So if you look at Salesforce.com, so everything we are defining in terms of object only. So they given that object name as documents. Simply they given that object name as documents object. So we have to upload that image to documents, and then we can choose the document here, that file or image. Okay, I'm closing this one. So I need to go to documents object. How could I go to documents object? So if you want to see how many tabs and objects we got so far in the organization, so we need to click on plus symbol. There is plus symbol, right? So all tabs will be displayed if you click on plus symbol. So let me open in the new tab, like open in new tab. So you can see all the tabs which are available currently in my Mahesh company organization. Okay, these are all the tabs which are available. So can you see any document tab? I can see documents tab here. Just click on this documents tab. I am clicking on this document tab now. Yes, I clicked on it. I clicked on documents tab and click on new button to upload new document to this documents tab. So what is our document name? It is a logo for my company, right? Logo for sample app. And again, if you are giving document name, so document unique name will be populated automatically. I'm clicking on outside. I'm clicking on outside. See, the document unique name will be populated. So why this name is there, we will discuss. So if you are giving any spaces, the spaces will be eliminated by underscores. So make sure you can check the checkbox as externally available image. Then only this image will be available to the application. And then choose the file. Click on choose file now. So you can see your computer here, desktop on my computer. So you can choose any image. Yes, I got one image here. I'm uploading image to the documents folder or maybe documents tab or object. And then click on save. I clicked on save. So it is uploaded. This size is only 6 KB. So it is less than 20 KB. And I checked the checkbox also, the externally available image. That's fine. So now I'm going to my custom app. So I stopped in the middle, right? For inserting the image. So now click on insert an image. Now we can see that image here. Yes. Before it was not showing because there are no files available in my documents object. Now I uploaded that image to documents object, and in the app creation we can see that uploaded image here. Just click on this logo for sample app. So it is a logo. So this Salesforce logo will be replaced with my company logo. So it is in step 3. I'm clicking on next button. So we are going into 4th step. So I given, right, one application can contain n number of tabs. So either predefined tabs, that means the CRM tabs, right? So you can select the standard tabs. I will give you one more terminology, that is whatever Salesforce.com created or whatever Salesforce.com provided, those features we are calling as a standard feature. Standard application, standard tab, standard object, standard field, like that. So whatever Salesforce.com giving to us, or maybe whatever Salesforce.com providing, or whatever Salesforce.com created, those features we are calling as a standard features. Or whatever we are going to create, whatever created by the developers, those are called custom features. Standard and custom. I will use these two terminologies often. So I am going to sales application. Sales is a standard application. So call center is a standard application. So I haven't created any custom application so far. And this account tab is a standard tab. Opportunity tab is a standard tab. So whatever Salesforce.com creating or whatever they are providing, so we are calling as a standard. And whatever you are going to create and whatever developed by the developers, those are called as a custom tabs or custom features. So one application can contain n number of tabs. It is asking, do you want to add any predefined tabs? Do you want to add any standard tabs to your application? So if you want to add, just select that tab and click on add. Select that tab and click on add. Select that tab and click on add. So those tabs will appear in our application also. But here I don't want to use any standard tabs in my new application. Let me remove one by one. I don't want to use that standard tabs. I don't want to use CRM. So don't add any tabs. And even I don't want home tab. I don't want home tab. Just remove this home tab. No, you can't remove the home tab. Home tab should be the first tab, and you could not remove that home tab. It's compulsory tab, right? So home tab will be the default tab in every application. Okay, that's fine. I'm clicking on next button. So here you can see the profile. Here you can see the profile. So you know profile, right? So to which profile you want to give the access on this application. So we got some standard profiles which are created by the Salesforce.com. These are the standard profiles. These are all standard profiles which are created by the Salesforce.com. So do you want to give the access on which profile on this application, newly creating application? Do you want to show this application to which profile? So if you want to show this application to all profile users, just click on this checkbox. So it will be appear to all users. So all users who got this profiles. But I don't want to show this application to all profile users. I want to show this application to system administrator profile users only, because my profile is system administrator. So I want only me should see this application. So I'm giving this permission to system administrator only. Or if you want to give permission to any other profile, so you can check that checkbox also. Automatically that users also can see this application. But I'm very selfish person. Okay, I want to show this application to only me. I don't want to show this application to anyone else. That's why I unchecked the checkbox for all the profiles, and I checked only the checkbox to my profile. And click on save button. I click on save button. Let me zoom in. So it is the creation
What about
of
the default checkbox?
Where it is default? In profile? Where did you see a default checkbox? In profile? I don't get you. I don't know who. Abhinay, did you raise the question?
Yes, Mahesh. In default, I did see in profile.
Yes. If if you check default, by default that will be shown as a default one, as the first one. As first one, it will be shown that application. Default means default. The first one, it will be shown.
Okay, like in place of sales.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Mahesh, one question. This is Chintan.
Yeah, Chintan.
Hello, Mahesh.
Yeah, Chintan.
So, even though if you provide the, if you create profile, provide access to other users, the app is only visible to the accounts you have added, right? It's not visible to the other accounts available.
We don't say as accounts wise, we can say as a profile wise. So suppose I created 10 users and given for the 10 users some X profile.
Yes, so,
Because,
so the user created by you only can see this application, right? Not any other user outside the user list you have created it.
Not like that. Only users created by me also can't see. If I assign different profiles and if I don't select, if I don't give the access to the profile, that users also can't see. So it is a organization wide, right? So how many users are there in the organization? So everyone can access this application once they got the access. So if they don't have access, even they can't access the application.
So even though if you don't add that user, can that user see the application? Even though that, let's say that application, that user resides in any other application.
No, if I don't give the access for that user, so that user can't see this application.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay then. So it's about creation of the application. So what is my application? So sample application, right? So it is a sample application. See, the custom checkbox has been checked for the sample application because it is a custom app. It is not standard app. So what are the applications created by you? Those applications are called custom applications. So whatever Salesforce.com provided, those are called standard applications. I will use these two words often. So if I go to my application drop-down box, I'm going to top. If I go to my application drop-down box, we can see sample app. We can see sample app. I'm clicking on sample app. So it is a sample app. Can you see the logo? So is it a standard Salesforce logo or your uploaded logo? So this logo was uploaded by me. Okay, I replaced that Salesforce.com standard logo with my company logo. And still you can see we are using Spring 14. We are using Spring 14. We are into Spring 14. Very soon we will be into Summer 14. So it is a home tab. So we can't take out the home tab. So on the home tab should be the first tab. You can see the home tab here. So if you want to go to setup page, just click on setup. You will be into the setup page. I'm clicking on setup page now. So we are into setup page. Okay, so we are still into sample application. If you want to navigate to any other application, you can navigate it. Okay, so how many steps to create the app? So anyone remember how many steps to create the app? For creating the app, we got total 5 steps. So what is the path to create the application? We need to go to setup, go to build, go to create and click on app and click on new. So it is a path to create the application. So how many steps? How many steps are there to create the application? So we got total 5 steps to create the application. What are the 5 steps? The first one is you can choose the type of application, either custom application or console application. Just I'm giving like type of application. Second one is the application label. And the third one is the logo for the application. And fourth one is choose the tabs. What tabs you want to show in this application. And the fifth one is finally profile. To which profile you want to show this application. To which profile do you want to show this application? So these are the steps we have to follow while creating the application. So after application, so what is our order? Tab. We have to create the tab after application. So after application, I will show how to create the tab. So how we can create the tab? Same. We have to go to setup. I clicked on setup. We need to go to create. I'm going to create. And then we need to go to tab to create the new custom tab. I'm clicking on tab. I'm clicking on tab. So can you see any new tab? Yes. New button is there, right? By clicking on new button, you can create the new tab. So what it is? It is a custom object tab. It is a custom tab. So whatever tabs are provided by the Salesforce.com, those tabs are called standard tabs. Whatever tabs we are creating, those tabs are called custom tabs. So what is this one? Custom object tabs looks and behave like the standard tabs provided with Salesforce.com. The standard ones provided by Salesforce.com. And the custom tabs are created by the developers. So I want to create the new tab. So wherever you can see new button, just click on that new button. I'm clicking on new button. So you can create the new tab. So if you want to create the new tab, we have to select the object. So without object, we can't create the tab. So first we have to create the object and create the tab for that object. So what is the relationship between tab and object? So we got one-to-one relationship between the tab and object. We can create only one tab for single S object. We can't create more than one tab for single S object. So if you want to create tab, we have to create the object first. So to which object you are creating tab? To which object? There is no object is available. You are trying to create the tab. How it is possible? To which object you are creating the tab? We got one-to-one relationship between object and tab. So there is no object is available. How could you create the tab? So go and create the object and come back again to the tab and create the tab. Because between tab and object, we got one-to-one relationship. And in another way, so how we can understand? I'm going to sales application. So if you click on any tab, just tab is a door or entry point to enter into the object. Through the tab only, we can enter into the object and you can see the fields in the object and you can enter the data. I'm clicking on this opportunity I'm clicking a new button. Once I click a new button, I will enter into the object. And I can see the fields in the object, and I enter the data into the fields, and I save the record will be saved into database. Simply you can understand, tab is a door. So if you want to enter into the your house, so we have to open the door, right? Through the door only we can enter into the house. So in the same way, if you want to enter into the object, and if you want to see the fields, whatever fields is there in the object, we can enter through the tab only. That's why we can create only one tab for single object. If you want to enter into the object, so we have to create the tab. Without creating the tab, you can't enter into the object, and you can't see the fields inside the object. So there is no object is available. So how you can create the entry point, how we can create the door, how we can create the